welcome back to the Cozy Cottage Homestead. So today I'm going to be making something with our sourdough bread that, let's just say any bread, sometimes bread does not rise correctly. There are lots of different options that you can do with your bread. If it does not rise, it is still good. Most often it is just maybe a little bit dense or it just didn't rise as high. In those cases, they make excellent bread for French toast, for garlic bread. Also, bread pudding is awesome to use it for. So what I have here is one of the loaves that did not rise as good. The bread is excellent. It's still really good, but being more of a seasoned bread maker, I just wasn't pleased with how high it rose. Some of it was my fault because I had let it over rise, but nevertheless I still stuck it in the freezer, and then I pulled it out today to show you what else you can do with it besides garlic bread, French toast, bread pudding. So today we're going to be making sourdough croutons. Now I don't know if you're aware of this, it may be a no-brainer, but if you need breadcrumbs, all you have to do is put the croutons in a little chopper and then you'll have breadcrumbs. So it works both ways. But today we're going to start out with croutons, and then we always have the option to use it as breadcrumbs. So all we're going to do is paint the olive oil. It's going to get messy. Just kind of paint the olive oil, not real thick, just kind of lightly. And I'm just going to stack them up on top of themselves. And that helps get the other side just a little bit of oil on it too. And when I get a nice little stack, I'll go ahead and start cutting them. You could use whatever kind of oil you like. Some of you may use avocado oil, more healthier type stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to get some room here first. And go ahead and just cut some little squares out of them. Very simple, very easy to do. An electric knife would work really good for this, but I'm just going to go ahead and use a regular bread knife. And try not to cut my finger. My arms are giving me problems today. Go ahead and turn it sideways. And then do the same thing. Just cut it again. So you have it all cut up to the size that you want. Now what I did with the bread was I sliced it really thin. I let it set out overnight. That helped it to kind of dry out a little bit. And then today I'm going to do the next step. I'm not going to cut all of them, but I'm going to finish them. So I'll probably continue to work, and I'll pause y'all for a little bit, and I'll bring you back for the next step. Okay, so we have it all chopped up. Now my goal is to try to separate it in half. Not really going to be exactly in half. Big old Ziploc bag. Just put as much as you can in there. Depends on how big your loaves of bread were. They might not have enjoyed your bread because it was a little flat, but I'm pretty sure they'll be impressed with your croutons. Croutons are one of those things that make a good healthy snack if it's the sourdough and the whole wheat flour. Great to put in soups, salads, just dip in some cheese. Just a great little snack. And why not be a little more frugal? If you have a bread that didn't turn out the best, is a little flat, make some croutons with it. And then you can just put them in a glass jar or a freezer bag, store them in the freezer or in your pantry, and you can vacuum seal the jar. Then you'll have croutons whenever you want. And not only that, if you need breadcrumbs, you just put it in a little small chopper, or you can just set it on the counter in a Ziploc bag with a rolling pin, and it just flattens them out and makes some breadcrumbs. Okay, so on this one, it all did fit in the bag. It's quite full though. So you know the famous Italian breadcrumbs? They usually cost a little more, but the more ingredients and spices that you put in them, Well, today we're going to be making some of those. And ours isn't going to cost us near as much because we have our ingredients already. So I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to put it in there till it looks right. So I'm going to put some of the Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to put a pretty good bit. Would be a little chunk right there. And we have some Italian seasoning. You put whatever seasoning, whatever spices you like. Just sprinkle it in till you think it's about right. I like some seasoning. I'm going to put a pretty good bit in mine. And then I'm going to go with this bagel. Everything bagel. I don't know why I keep saying it backwards. As y'all have already noticed, I get tongue-tied so easy. And tend to say things backwards. I guess a touch of dyslexic. But I definitely, my brain thinks way faster than my mouth can say it. And I get tongue-tied. Something I've dealt with my whole life. But thank goodness my biological father had a serious stuttering problem. I guess I've learned to work with it through the years. And I don't have it unless I get really excited or really nervous. Then you're going to hear me stutter. But anyway, this is everything bagel seasoning. Forgot to look to see if it said what the ingredients were. Garlic, sea salt, sesame seeds, black sesame seeds, chopped onions, poppy seeds, and sesame seeds. I think it said sesame seeds twice. But it smells good. It was really, really good on my sourdough bread. I probably put about half of that container in there. I want my croutons to be really good. And then we're just going to shake our croutons. Shake them, shake them, shake them. Mix them all up. Make sure you hold the end of it good. I don't want it dumping all over everybody's head. I don't want to get no emails saying, how'd you do that? Mine just fell out everywhere. I'm holding on to it tight. So shake them croutons. Shake them croutons. Shake, shake, shake. Shake up them croutons. And when you think you have them mixed up good enough, get you 2 large, I guess, cookie pans. Mine are lined in foil, just to make the cleanup a lot easier. And my pans are getting kind of old. So I'm going to dump about half of that out on there. Well, it looks absolutely like they're already done, but they're not. I got another pan right here. Let me move some of this out of my way. And get this other pan over here. I don't know if we have enough room for all this, but we'll try. Just gotta make the best of it. Let me see what that looks like. Spread them out. You don't want them to be overcrowded. You might could have got them on one pan, but it's better if they're kind of just one layer. Dump some more in this one. A little more of the seasoning was in the bottom. Just shake it all out. And I'll give it another little mix with my hands just to make sure and try to even them out. We are going to put this in the oven. I'm going to say about 400 degrees. Depends again on your oven temperature. I'm going to put it in there for about probably 25 minutes. I'm going to check it in about 10 minutes. And then I will use a spatula, flip it all around, make sure it's good and dried out, really good and toasted. And usually in about 25 to 35 minutes, it's usually done. So I'll see y'all back in a few minutes. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, so it took about 35 minutes for the croutons to be done. Now I'm just going to let them cool off completely. They're pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in some quart-sized jars and leave the lids off and let them finish cooling off. And then I will vacuum seal them later. So that way we have shelf-stable croutons on hand. And I'm just going to use my hands. I have 2 bay leaves in the bottom. I do have the oxygen absorbers that I could put in there. But the bay leaf kind of gives a little bit of flavor, but it also keeps it fresh. So whatever way works for you. I know some people don't have the oxygen absorbers. You can buy them fairly cheap on Amazon. I'm not really sure exact where to tell you to look, but if you don't have that, you can just use a bay leaf. Works really good. And now you will have plenty of croutons. And like I mentioned, if you want breadcrumbs, all you have to do is pour some of this out, put it in a little mini chopper, and then you will have breadcrumbs. A lot of these crumbs that I'm seeing in here is from the everything bagel seasoning. It got a little darker, but that's alright. Not a problem. It's all going to taste yummy on the salad. So we have 2 quart jars, almost completely full. And I just have a handful left. I will just put this in a Ziploc bag. And then we'll have croutons that's already ready for our salad. And then we'll also have those 2 quart jars. Once they cool off completely, that one's a little bit full. Once they cool off completely, I'll probably leave them set out about 4 or 5 hours to make sure they're completely cool. And then I'll get the vacuum sealer out and seal those. And then we will have very healthy, much cheaper, a whole lot more croutons to put in our pantry and to enjoy with our salad tonight or tomorrow whenever we're eating our salad. So I think that's all. If you have any more questions, if I left anything out, feel free to email me. As always, I try to get back to everyone. This is probably going to be the weekend after Mother's Day that you'll probably be seeing this video. So I want to remind everyone a frugal tip. Instead of spending a whole lot of money on your mothers, moms, aunts, grandparents, girlfriends, whoever has children, whoever your moms are in your life, buy them a rose bush and they can plant it. Even if they're in an apartment, they can put it in a big pot, and then they will have beautiful roses to enjoy year round. And it's much cheaper. I'm going to bring this closer because these roses are just gorgeous. Save some of your old vases and bring them inside. Bring your roses inside. Just a simple little vase. In order for your flowers to stay fresher longer, another frugal tip, you can smash up aspirin with a spoon and add about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of Epsom salt. Put that in your water and your flowers will stay fresh. Just like when you get roses bought or sent to you, they have that little packet in there that you put in to help keep the roses fresher longer. It's basically the same thing. And then you will also have beautiful, lovely roses at a fraction of the price. So buy a rose bush instead. And then they'll be thinking about you all year round because they'll have roses coming in, hopefully just as beautiful as those. What do I use for fertilizer? A little sidekick here. I use rabbit manure on all of my vegetables, all of my flowers, all of my plants, and I'm very pleased at the results. So thanks for joining me today. Hope everyone has a wonderful, blessed Mother's Day weekend, or had one, because this is going to be the week after. Hope you got to spend some time with family and enjoy some one-on-one with your mothers. And I think that's all for today. So farewell, Homestead family, friends, and neighbors from the Cozy Cottage Homestead.